everybody, welcome to Lido Fine Art. Today's video, I've got a little bit of a treat for you. I will be doing the Exorcism of Roland Doe. Now, speaking of Roland Doe, he is the boy that the movie and the book, The Exorcist, was based off of. And speaking of The Exorcist, I will be doing a giveaway once we hit 1,111 subscribers, and I will be giving away this first edition copy of The Exorcist, signed by Linda Blair, who, if you didn't know, played the girl Reagan in the movie, who was the little girl that was possessed. So, yeah, I will take care of all the shipping, and you'll have to worry about nothing, and basically how I will pick is it'll be random, and I will put everyone's names or usernames in a jumbler, and it'll pick it out for me, so there will be no bias whatsoever. Alright, now, without further ado, let's crack into it. We will be talking about The Exorcism of Roland Doe, aka Robbie Mannheim. Alright, now, everything I am reading is based off the original source, and I will list everything down below, and then once we get through the source material, I will do my little spiel as, you know, on each thingy. Okay, yeah. Alright, so for first source is from Wikipedia, because we all love Wikipedia. Love how they, you know, include all their sources when they write up a topic. Alright, so let's crack into this. In mid-1949, several newspaper articles printed anonymous reports of an alleged possession and exorcism. The source for these reports is thought to be the family's former pastor, Luther Miles Schultz. Hope I'm saying that right. Probably am. According to one account, a total of 48 people witnessed this exorcism, 9 of them Jesuits. According to author Thomas B. Allen, Jesuit priest Father Walter H. Holleran was one of the last surviving eyewitnesses of the event and participated in the exorcism. Allen wrote that a diary kept by attending priest Father Raymond J. Bishop detailed the exorcism performed on the pseudonymously identified Roland Doe, aka Robbie. Speaking in 2013, Allen emphasized that definitive proof that the boy known only as Robbie was possessed by malevolent spirits is unattainable. According to Allen, Holleran also expressed his skepticism about potential paranormal events before his death. That's funny because Holleran, you were participating in the exorcism, were you not? These motherfuckers, I swear to God. Alright. Back to the story. So, yeah. When asked in an interview to make a statement verifying that the boy had actually been demonically possessed, Holleran responded saying, "No, I can't go on record. I never made an absolute statement about the things because I didn't feel qualified." Okay, he admitted he's not qualified. But, like, you participated on the exorcism. This is why I fucking hate people sometimes, because they're all wishy-washy because they're afraid they're gonna say the wrong thing and then people are gonna think a certain thing about them. Just fucking own it. Seriously. Early life. Roland was born into a German Lutheran family. During the 1940s, the family lived in Cottage City, Maryland. According to Allen, Roland was an only child and depended upon adults in his household for playmates, primarily his aunt Harriet. His aunt, who was a spiritualist, introduced Roland to the Ouija board when he expressed interest in it. Guys, girls, days, what do I say in my channel all the time about Ouija boards? What do I say? So right off the bat, Auntie Harriet, doing the wrong thing here. All right. Now we're going to skip to exorcisms, because that's the next thing. According to Thomas B. Allen, after Aunt Harriet's death, the family experienced strange noises, furniture moving on its own accord, and ordinary objects such as vases. Is it vases? Vases? Tomato. Flying or levitating when the boy was nearby. I'm gonna say this right now. It was not his aunt. And if she's fucking with Ouija boards, and obviously him too, that tells me they probably did some other things. And so I bet you when she died, that was the catalyst to what set everything off. Just a theory. Because, I mean, on the astral realm, even though, see, now I don't know if she became an earthbound spirit or if she immediately, went to the light and went into the afterlife. If she did, then the demonic entity had nothing to mess with, for the most part. So, what did they have left? That child. Okay. The family turned to their Lutheran pastor, Luther Miles Schultz, for help. Long interested in parapsychology, Schultz arranged for the boy to spend a night in his home in order to observe him. When parapsychologist J.B. Ryan learned that Schultz claimed he witnessed household objects and furniture seemingly moving by themselves, Ryan wondered if Schultz unconsciously exaggerated some of the facts. Okay, you're always going to have that skeptic. Schultz advised the boy's parents to see a Catholic priest because he knew damn well he was over his head. According to traditional story, the boy then underwent a number of exorcisms. Edward Hughes, a Roman Catholic priest, conducted an exorcism on Roland and at Georgetown University Hospital, a Jesuit institution. Okay. Now it's very interesting. Well, actually, so for there to be exorcisms done, they usually have to go through trials of medical testing and stuff, both mentally and physically, to make sure, the kid or whomever the possessed person may be, want to make sure that is indeed possession. Plus, I think they don't want any lawsuits on their hand. But it's interesting how they didn't even talk about that, and they kind of just went right into the exorcism. Now, I think, too, they got their proof, or at least the Catholic priest got his proof, because he witnessed what was going on. And so that was enough for him to be like, yeah, no, that kid ain't making this shit up. So that's what I'm guessing. Or because they were already at the Georgetown University Hospital, he had been going through medical testing, and then they just happened to show up there to do the exorcism. Or they showed up to do the exorcism there because it was a safe, sterile environment where there wouldn't be much outside anything to tamper with the exorcism or mess it up. But during the exorcism, the boy allegedly slipped one of his hands out of his restraints, broke a bed spring from under the mattress, and used it as an impromptu weapon, slashing the priest's arm and resulting in the exorcism ritual being halted. Holy shit. Now, that movie came out a long time ago, and I honestly do not remember it other than the creepy girl walking down the stairs with her face and the throwing up. the green stuff and being vile. That's the only part I remember. But of course, it's a film, so it's very, like, dramatic and isn't super close to actual events. So it's kind of hard to, I guess, compare the real stuff from the bullshit. Alright. So, slashy. I know the priest got attacked though in the movie. I'm pretty sure it was that one. Alright. So we turned the, mattress into a weapon. Alright. Oh, the bed spring into a weapon. Shit. Okay. The family traveled to St. Louis, where Roland's cousin contacted one of his professors at St. Louis University, Bishop, who in turn spoke to William S. Baldern, an associate of College Church. Together, both priests visited Roland in his relative's home, where they allegedly observed a shaking bed, flying objects, and the boy speaking in a guttural voice, which, you know, that's always a bad sign when they are speaking in a different language in a voice that could be almost impossible for a child to reproduce. All right. And exhibiting an aversion to anything sacred. And like in the Annalise case, I said, when you test somebody to see if there is an actual aversion to anything sacred, you have to do it without them knowing, because then the test is compromised, especially if they do have a psychological illness. Even though they're not purposely reacting, subconsciously, there's a problem there. Saying, I guess, whatever it is that's making him react that way. So, Baldern, I don't know, was granted permission from the Archbishop to perform another exorcism. And if you notice, too, with all these case studies, usually one exorcism is not enough. I would say many times it takes, well, dozens, if not more than that, depending on how many and what kind of demonic entity, whether it's like a high-ranking one, like a devil or a king, or I don't remember all the different levels of the hierarchy, or the descended hierarchy, but it depends too on who you're dealing with. The exorcism took place at the Alexian Brothers Hospital in South St. Louis, Missouri, which was changed to South City Hospital. Before the next exorcism ritual began, another priest, Walter Holleran, was called to the psychiatric wing of the hospital, where he was asked to assist Baldern. William Van Roo, a third Jesuit priest, was also there to assist. Holleran stated that during this scene, words such as evil and hell, along with other various marks, appeared on the teenager's body. Allegedly, during the litany of the saints portion of the exorcism ritual, the boy's mattress began to shake. Moreover, Roland broke Holleran's nose during the process. Oh, and then you're just gonna say, well, you know, I never said this, and technically, I don't have the knowledge, or whatever the fuck he said, so I cannot say that he was possessed. Fucker. That's how I feel. That's how frustrated I get, because you have some clear cases, right? And you have witnesses to those cases, and they know it was legit, and then they're gonna backpedal because they're afraid of what everyone else is gonna think. Just own up to it. That's why half the people don't believe in this shit, because you got people that are, I don't want to say the P word, because you two might not like that, but you got these scaredy cats who are afraid of what other people are gonna think, but, like, their statement would, like, help other people. Like, because of his bullshit and backpedaling, now it makes people question the validity of the case. If he stuck to his guns, right, then maybe more people would believe in this stuff. But it's because people like him who just, ooh, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, stick to your guns. Don't be a freaking loser. Come on. You know, your nose got broken in the process. Like, how are you gonna say, oh no, if the kid was actually possessed? Okay, well, how did you not see, like, the shit flying and the bed shaking, and he's exhibiting, like, massive strength for a child? Come on, man. Come on. Don't be a loser. Don't be a loser. Alright. Halloran told a reporter that after the rite was over, the anonymous subject of the exorcism went on to lead a rather ordinary life. And he watched the whole, like, when they did wow. Almost said organism, the exorcism, right? He watched when he did the exorcism that, like, words were being carved into his skin. If he's, like, restrained, how the fuck did that happen? How? Own up to your shit, bruh. Own up to your shit. Alright. Now, this source, mirror.co.uk, film Exorcist based true story real, this documents all the activity that went on with this person, with Roland. The boy said he saw an image of Jesus in his grandmother's room twist and move as if someone was hitting the wall behind it. That's fucked up, okay? I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video or any of the other videos that I did this week or last week. But right before I went to bed, I did mention this. I always say, hey, Archangel Gabriel, or Michael, I think it's been Gabriel. I'll be like, hey, can you, like, watch around the house, keep everyone safe if I'm unable to? And in my third eye, on the astral realm that I saw, an entity that looked like Archangel Gabriel for, like, a second. But, like, he kind of warped into a dark version. And the best way to compare it is, if any of you guys watched Lord of the Rings, right? And I want to say it was probably the first movie of the trilogy, not like The Hobbit, like the first one with Frodo. And it's the part where they go into that elf forest, right? And he's got the ring. And then you have, like, the elf queen that's in the forest. And she realizes he has the ring. And then she goes from light to this dark, creepy ass, like, version of herself. That's what it looked like. Freaky, right? And so, as I paid more attention, he just got more, like, grotesque and gross looking. And I was just like, yo, dude, I'm not fooled. Like, first of all, Archangel Gabriel doesn't look like that. Second of all, he doesn't give off that vibe. Third of all, I know it ain't him. Like, and then it took off its facade, or his half facade, because he didn't do a really good job hiding himself. Unless he did that on purpose to creep me out even more. But, yeah. But anyway, so that's what that reminded me of, with Jesus being all twisty and creepy. Alright. At first, the family thought it was mice and called in pest control. I feel so attacked right now. Okay, so in my new house, right, we hear scratches and stuff and other noises, And I'm just like, oh, it's the mice. I mean, meanwhile, I am still having a demonic issue, right? But, like, what if it was actually the demon, and then me, being the dumbass, is like, nah, it's just mice. I mean, we do have mice. Like, we caught one. We got rid of it. But, like, we haven't seen any signs other than hearing the sounds of scratching in the walls. Oh my god. I feel attacked. I can't stop laughing about it. I mean, I shouldn't laugh. But I can't help it. But what happened next left them in no doubt. This wasn't rodents. Oh, okay. Roland's mattress moved violently in the middle of the night. There was a constant bashing coming from the basement. A smell of excrement flooded everything, and ordinary objects were suspended in the air. Uh-oh! It's about to get real up in here. That sounds like a devil entity. Or just a higher ranking demonic entity. Because the whole levitation thing, that is a rare thing for a demon to have. And usually, if a demon has it, it's because they're descended on the hierarchy, so they're, like, higher in power. And that power is usually given to them. So, ruh-roh. It wasn't just the family witnessing his attacks. Okay. A friend was in their house. Betch they're regretting that decision. A friend was in their house when the boy was sitting in a chair, and then quickly, without warning, he was thrown from it and landed multiple feet away. The poor boy, though, who was suffering. Like, just imagine you're chilling on your couch, playing video games or something, and then yeet, your couch just throws you. I wouldn't trust a single couch or sofa or chair ever again after that. No. It was the first time that someone outside the family had witnessed the weird incidents. Things started to go wrong at school. I bet they did. Roland's family removed him after teachers claimed his desk would move during class, as well as objects. He was seen as a troublemaker. I bet you he was. I'm just saying, like, teachers, I don't want to start trouble and say teachers are not really well equipped for some students, but they're really not. I mean, unless you are trained in child behavior, right? I honestly don't think a teacher should be a teacher. I mean, it's great, you know how to teach. You're smart, you have your subjects that you specialize in, but, like, I can literally do the same thing, read a fucking textbook, and be a teacher. But if you don't know how to maneuver around children and, you know, understand their behaviors, what causes them, right? And especially those with disabilities and that need special attention, should be a fucking teacher. And back then, they're like, oh, misbehave, whoosh, yeah. Even when I was in school, teachers were not fucking nice when it came to anybody who got out of line, because they never were like, oh, Timmy, what's wrong? What's going on? Like, they never cared they never cared to understand what was going wrong, to try to help the student. They just were like, okay, misbehaving, bye. Or in my case, my teacher called me a retard. They called me a retard in front of my entire class. Gee, I wonder why I have so many problems now. And don't like public speaking and... yeah, fuck. Yeah, exactly. He was seen as a troublemaker. Yeah, okay. Fucking... what do we call them now? He was seen as a troublemaker. Okay, Karen, We get you can't fucking deal with children. We get it. A fellow student explained what happened. The desk was shaking and vibrating extremely fast, and I remember the teacher yelling at him to stop. And I remember he kind of yelled back, "I'm not doing it." Yeah, but Karen can't rationalize that. When Roland's mother walked in to find his bed shaking, they decided enough was enough. She tried to speak with what she thought was the spirit of Roland's aunt. But it wasn't her. Imploring her to stop and asking her questions. Listen, like you can't negotiate with terrorists, you can't negotiate with demons. I should make that into I'm making that into a t-shirt. TM, TM, TM. And asking her questions. Yeah, don't fucking communicate with it. She claims to have heard something scratching the mattress until it fell to the floor. Ew! The family, at their wits' end, and sure Roland was possessed by his dead aunt, turned to a Lutheran pastor who, when realized how bad things were, recommended they contact a Catholic priest. Yeah, because he's like, this is way over my head. I ain't get paid enough for this. Well, technically, they don't get paid anyway. But, you know what I mean. A local priest was sent, but Roland screamed at him in Latin. And I am not going to try to pronounce what he said in Latin. But, translation, "O priest of Christ, you know that I am the devil." Yeah, unless this kid was taking secret Latin classes. Yeah, no, that was a demon. Oh, it says it was a devil. You know that I am the devil. So it was probably a devil entity. But however, I want to know, how many of these, like, demonic hauntings do these demons say, "I'm the devil"? Because there's more than one devil. There's many. But they're working for the same person. Well, I shouldn't say person, because they ain't a person. Disturbed and shaken by what he had seen, the priest applied to the church to carry out an exorcism. Tests were held as the church requires. Okay, there it is. Tests were held as the church requires mental and physical evaluations to be done before exorcism can take place. Okay, so there really was some hoops that they had to jump through. That's all the information I have right now. All right, so let's begin. Part 1 or step 1 or phase 1. Infestation. How did that shit happen? When they fucked with the Ouija board. That's why you don't mess with Ouija boards. 2, oppression. That's pretty much everything that the demonic entity did. And pretty much to get them afraid and scared. To wear down his ability to want to fight back. So, what was some... Alright, so we have floating objects, including the kid himself. Things shaking, thrown around. He was thrown around. Class. And if you notice, too, they will try to alienate the person to where they are alone or feel alone, right? And how did they do that? They did it in school. Or I should say, the demonic entity messed with him in school to get him separated from his class, right? So his teachers were against him, and I'm sure all the friends he had were probably not his friends by the end. And they're like, nope, we ain't going near that with a 10-foot pole. Alright. And then you have the whole, I guess, the scratching. Because of the whole mouse thing. The smell of excrement. Yeah, that's like key demon shit right there. The constant bashing from the basement. Yes. So those are examples of oppression. Now, influence. Sometimes the stages don't happen all in order, or there really is no order. It's just is what it is, but there's usually 4 of them that do happen. And so influence, I can't think of in here. Influence. What happened that made him under the influence? It's like a drug. Okay. So they kind of like... I'm sure that kid was... Because he didn't go from 0 to 100, especially with the whole speaking in Latin. Now, can he be influenced to speak that way? Yes, but usually under possession is when they're going to be speaking other languages. So, I don't remember reading it anywhere, but if I had to guess, the influence stage would probably be like him not being himself. So maybe he is more withdrawn, depressed. He's more into isolating himself. Maybe even snapping at his parents. That could be a good example. But I don't remember reading it. But that doesn't mean I didn't read it, because I have the memory of a goldfish. And then you have the whole possession part, which we know is the whole, he was being too levitating while also speaking in another language in a weird voice that was not his own. So yeah, 4 stages of demonic haunting. So yeah, I mean, it's still freaky that words were being carved into that kid in his body. That had to hurt. And it's really interesting that the notes that were written, they were like, they did the exorcisms and then happily ever after. Was it though? I mean, I hope it was for him. I hope for his sake. I hope he did his exorcisms and he was perfect. But a lot of times, that's not how it goes. A lot of times, even after the dozens and maybe even sometimes hundreds of exorcisms, the person who was possessed will be fine for a bit, but the demon will come back. And if they don't fix the problem or the method in which the demon came in the first place, there's probably an 80-95% chance that it's going to come back. So it's always important to make sure that you know the cause of what brought in the demonic entity in the first place. So yeah, that's the Exorcisms of Roland Doe, aka Robbie Mannheim. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, leave them down below. And I will see you soon. Peace out. Are you guys looking for a way to show your support? One way you can do that is by becoming one of my patrons on my Patreon. It starts at $1. And with $1, you guys have access to everything I post. So if I do a mass production day where I record like 7 videos, instead of having to wait 7 weeks as they are released, you'll have instant access to them on my Patreon. Also, I post all my art stuff, so you'll have access to signed wallpapers, comics as I post them, novel excerpts, everything. And then each tier has its own little perk. So every tier will have the same access as the basic one. So no content is withheld based off of tier level, okay? So this is how it goes. So tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 have their own little perk, right? They all have access to the same information, but the thing that makes them different is the perk. So I have a perk where it's monthly postcards, where I send you a postcard of an art print. I have a tier where it's monthly merch. I have a tier where it's monthly tarot card readings. I have a tier for paranormal help. And if you are having issues dealing with things psychologically, almost like a therapist, but not a therapist, because I am not a certified therapist. But it will help you cope with any paranormal things that you're dealing with. So yeah, for $1, you could, show your support and help me out. And in addition to that, you'll have access to the community that, that I'm building. So you'll have like-minded people in this group. So if you're having issues finding friends or anyone to talk to, everybody in this group is someone who has dealt with or believes in the paranormal. And so this will be a safe place for everyone to just chill, have a party. I will have Discord servers open so we can talk in chat rooms. We can do voice talk back and forth. Maybe sometimes we'll play video games together. I don't know. The sky's the limit, right? So yeah, come join me on my Patreon and have a blast with us. I already have 4 members, and it's just gonna grow from there. So yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video, and hope to see you soon.